7 players I love walking into 2026 redraft and also existing and startup dynasty leagues. We're talking about why these 7 guys could be potential league winners or franchise builders. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Justin Jefferson literally is a top 1 to 5 wide receiver. There's no debating that. We're debating the output as of right now. Everyone and their mother knows he will eventually return to glory. There's just no question about it. Does he get traded? Do the Vikings bring in somebody? We know J9's not the guy. It's not a question of who eventually throws to JJ, whether it's on the Minnesota Vikings or another team. It's a matter of how long does it take for him to get his elite quarterback. The moment he gets his elite quarterback, he's back in the top 4 overall in a dynasty startup or a redraft league. He'll get drafted in the top 4 overall if he's handed a Justin Herbert or gets traded to wherever. He becomes a top 1 to 4 overall player, not just top 1 to 4 wide receiver, 1 to 4 overall player. It's a game. It's a game of buying before the value returns. It's a game of maybe you getting screwed in 2026 dynasty because you expected the change to happen in 2026 offseason, but it might not. Either way, if you're in dynasty, he's worth the risk. I would let 1 year maybe, and maybe you still win. Maybe you find a way. Maybe you have this year's version of last year's Michael Wilson Jr. and you figure it out. But I'm willing to let a season maybe fall to the wayside at the upside of getting him back into the top 5 overall at some point soon and not having to pay that entry point. I do believe that the Vikings will try and solve this problem right away. I don't think JJ gets traded this offseason. Anything's possible. The cap hit, everything is just a mess if they go in that direction, but we've seen crazier things happen. We saw the Denver Broncos pay Russell Wilson in 2024 $35 million to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anything is possible. I feel like anytime you're sending any top 6 to 10 wide receiver for JJ straight up, it makes sense. I think maybe you're trading Loveland because you have Fannin or Bowers for JJ and you're throwing in a wide receiver that's playing at a level below JJ or is valued as a level below JJ but might be outperforming JJ. That's clearly outperforming JJ. JJ wasn't even a top 15 wide receiver last year, but that's the kind of move you can maybe make. And you can keep Loveland. Maybe you've got Loveland and Tyler Warren and you send Tyler Warren packing or you send Fannin packing. You have to send Loveland, but Loveland will get you a lot right now. Not that selling Loveland is fun. He's a fantastic top 3 tight end prospect, but you definitely can get a lot for him and you can make moves like this that you maybe can't make normally. JD5. Jayden Daniels is doubted like no quarterback I've seen in some time, given we're 1 year removed from him being the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 overall pick in a dynasty startup just 1 offseason ago. Things didn't go well. Things fell apart. They're bringing in this guy who a lot of people have concerns about, David Blau. Which David Blau? Who the Blau is David? I'll tell you that this guy has a lot of upside, and a lot of inner league circles are talking about how he was one of the better candidates to come out as an OC somewhere. And if Washington didn't vault him up immediately, he was going to start exploring his options. And so they said, we'll take the risk, grab him. He's got rapport with JD5 already. These two are like peas and carrots. He's got a mix of Ben Johnson / Kingsbury in his history. And a lot of people think he's going to have a blend of Ben Johnson, Kingsbury, among other type of maybe mix of air raid and other pretty fun offensive scheme concepts in his bag of tricks. And we're going to see this guy absolutely deploy an exciting offense in Washington. I trust Adam Peters. I know Adam Peters and this whole team disappointed people, but it was 1 year ago they shocked the world. They turned the Washington Commanders around 180 degrees in one offseason. They drafted one of the most exciting young quarterbacks to ever come out of college. And just because he has one bad injured year where they surrounded him with no weapons, I don't think you should be holding that against him. And I also believe that we're walking into a 2026 NFL draft where you're going to see Tyson or Tate maybe go to the Washington Commanders at 7. These are my top 2 wide receivers. Mekhi Lemon could also be a selection here. Maybe Jeremiah Love. They could draft the rookie running back, but this is an improved situation with this number 7 overall pick, the other draft capital pieces, and then they're going to take this thing into 2026 in a much different way than people expect. Buy low on JD5 while you're buying with all of the risk that you're worried about baked in. Everything you're going to say to me like, but he me? Doesn't matter. But Smitty, can he stay healthy? Doesn't matter. But I don't think he's got the weapon. Doesn't matter. But what if Blount? Doesn't matter. You're buying him so outside of his ceiling range. You're protecting yourself tremendously. No matter what, his scrambling capability puts him at QB 7, 8. No matter what, he's getting you that when he's on the field. It's just a matter of will he return to number 1 or number 2 or number 3 overall quarterback value, which he's fully capable of doing once he gets that Tyson or Tate or weapon. Breece Hall. Hall is one of those guys that is going to literally go from 0 to hero, from rags to riches. Not saying he's trash really, but right now, no one thinks Hall's very valuable right now. They wonder, they're hopeful, they're on their toes about news breaking because he could go somewhere else, right? He's an unrestricted free agent. He could get tagged by the Jets. They could sign, trade. There's all kinds of options, you know, but at the end of the day, it does feel like he'll be wearing a different uniform. Probably will be the Kansas City Chiefs, or it'll be maybe the Washington Commanders will go after Hall and then draft Tate or Tyson at that number 7 overall pick, and then they bring in Breece Hall. Regardless, he's going somewhere to catch passes. He's going somewhere electric like KC, who wanted to trade for him anyway. It seems like a perfect fit. Now Mahomes is injured. They probably regret not giving up the 3rd rounder, which is what the Jets required, and then the trade didn't happen. Jets are absolutely ludicrous for not trying to get rid of him if they're going to let him walk, and the Chiefs are equally ludicrous for not saying, let's just throw a 3rd rounder at it. Now Mahomes wasn't injured yet, but Mahomes probably being careful running the ball his first year back from an ACL tear. Team's going to lean on Breece Hall if they get him. They're going to throw to him. They're going to run him. He could be a top 5 overall player, let alone top 5 running back. And you're buying now on speculation that he goes somewhere, but it's a damn fine bet to make, because even in the worst of worst case scenarios, let's say we're banking on him going to KC or Washington or New Orleans, and we're sitting here going, where's he going to go? And the Jets franchise tag him, and they don't sign him to a new deal, but he plays on the tag. It's an awful situation. Nobody can understand what the Jets are doing. He still is worth the value you have to pay to get him now. He's worth holding if you've got him. This is one of my favorite buy lows in both redraft and also dynasty, because he's still got multiple years left, but he is such a value in trade in existing dynasty and such an early value in best ball. Underdog promo code Smitty. Play 5, get 75, win up to 5,000 times your money. And if you deposit, they'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So be prepared to draft Breece Hall in those early drafts. The big board opens up, I believe, the midnight of the Super Bowl. And so we'll be in there grabbing him like crazy before we enter a time frame, let's say in April, where he's going in round 2 instead of round 4 or round 3 or round 4. Who the hell knows where he's going to go? All I know right now is he's going round or rounds later than he should and will eventually. Send your trade offers for Breece Hall right now in existing dynasty. A lot of risk with Bucky, Irving, no doubt about it, but there's lots of upside. Like with Breece Hall, all you're gonna see and hear are he can't be the full-time guy, he won't stay healthy, they don't trust him, he's in a committee. Liam Cohen leaving means that this offense is going to suck no matter what. All of that bakes in any of the risk you're going to be throwing at me. And I just say to myself, I know he's a top 5 to 10 capable running back. He's not guaranteed to return to that value, but you're not even sniffing that kind of cost of entry. So in redraft, existing best ball, maybe he goes in round 3 or 4. I don't really know. No one knows where the ADPs are going to land. We just exited Fantasy Football 2025, but I kind of sense he's going to go in the 3-4 turn area, and that's a pretty damn good deal for a guy that still could be top 5 to 10. And even if he's not, you're getting that return at that value. You're not. There's no way you're overpaying for Irving. You're just having people course correct way too much, and you just kind of step in and go, "This is fair market value. Okay, I'll take it because there's all upside. And even if he fails you, he earns what you pay." Go trade for him and draft him soon in best ball. Zack Charbonnet. Warning, what you're about to see might be a little bit scary. You might want to turn away if you're squeamish, but this footage has been sent to us from a local Phoenix resident. Local authorities are trying to figure out what the sign means. It reads Sharp Season. Unclear as to what that is trying to reference or if that's some sort of warning. Sharp says top 5 to 10 running back upside. He does. In 2024, he proved it when he had 5 starts and he was the number 2 overall running back if you extrapolate that 5-game data across 17 games. And then this year, whenever given an opportunity, he's thrived. At the end of the year, he's punching in double touchdowns and 100 yards. He looks fantastic. And Kenneth Walker's a free agent. And so while there's a chance that that goes awry and they bring Walker back on some sort of hometown discount because the market value is not there for him with all the injected rookies and the running back climate, it's possible. But all I know is that you're not buying Charbonnet as if he's a starter in Seattle right now. If you're in an existing dynasty league, you're buying him on a little bit of increased value on some spec that exists, but you're by no means overpaying. And if he gets into the lineup, he immediately vaults into the top of round 3 at the minimum. So you're probably paying like 5-6 round value now, maybe later, maybe not. And in dynasty, I bet you it's a little higher, but this is a guy to explore kicking the tires on before he almost certainly goes up. This is kind of like when a stock goes up in the market and it goes up like, I don't know, 20%. And everyone's like, oh, I missed out, I'm not going to buy it now. And then it goes up another 80% the next week. You're looking at Charbonnet get a tiny bump, relatively speaking, to what he's about to sum total do on the course of the whole entire offseason. So don't be scared on a little bump and buying higher. His ceiling is so much higher. Egbuka, I know everyone's mad at Egbuka. They think he's trash, etc., etc. But what I can tell you with a certainty is that he's an elite wide receiver in the National Football League from a skill perspective. Now, whether the Bucs can get things put together right next year and not continue off of what kind of madness and mess they've been throwing out onto the field on a weekly basis in 2025 and into the playoff push, I can't guarantee that they'll fix it right away. I can't guarantee that what's going on with Baker doesn't just carry over. I can't guarantee any of that. What I can guarantee is that this kid is so far advanced from other rookies coming out of their rookie season, and his skill set is through the roof. He's got top maybe 7 to 10, maybe 5 to 10 wide receiver talent that didn't translate at the end of the year, but most certainly did at the beginning of the year. And while we can attribute a lot to rookie wall, mental and physical for Egbuka, he never broke out of the rookie wall. 20% maybe was in his own head because he wasn't getting the opportunities, and when he did, maybe he choked on a few drop balls. But at the end of the day, 80% of him not getting touchdowns and the proper throws in his direction that would have equated to bounce back fantasy football production, it's all blamed on Baker. So the only negative here is, will Baker not rebound, or will he rebound? Was he injured? Will he be healthy? Will the incoming staff that's going to try and fix this from the mess of Liam Cohen leaving, will they be able to repair this situation? If they do, Egbuka is going to the moon again. I think people are so scared they've overcorrected, like with other players like Bucky especially, and JD5 and JJ to a degree, but especially JD5 and Bucky. They've overcorrected so much that you're walking in and you're just like looking around and you're kind of dumbfounded, saying, am I really getting Egbuka at this value? Is he really costing me a low-end wide receiver 3 type value in a trade? Go get him in existing dynasty. He'll be a lot cheaper in redraft trades, like let's say after draft day, or he'll be easy to scoop up in best ball in February, March, April, May, more than June and August, and especially September. But I think that, overall across whatever format you look at, you're talking about somebody that's going to more than double or triple their current value where they're valued now. Go buy Egbuka. In dynasty, those that have them might have, faith that he'll come around, because it's a dynasty, it's a different mindset. But if you throw a confusing offer at somebody, they'll probably let go of the hope that's dwindling or that's cracked. The foundation of hope is cracked. You can go, weasel your way into a trade by just making it complicated. Everything I just said about Egbuka, I could say about Hunter. Travis Hunter is an enigma for sure. You don't know what his role is going to be. A lot of people is insinuating kind of recklessly that he's going to play only defense next year. That's what they've determined because Washington's doing well. They got Jacoby Myers and they got BTJ, but you don't really know what the staff is thinking. When Hunter went down with injury, he was being said to get peppered with wide receiver 1 targets, and then he got injured. You tell me he just gets regulated to he's so far down the totem pole now he's not even the 3rd wide receiver? I think there's a lot of opportunity here. He's still one of the most talented players to come out of college in a long time, if not one of the top 5 most athletic and talented players to come out. I think they still want to use him both ways, even though people think it's a mistake, and it definitely didn't go well last year. But clearly they fixed things in Jacksonville, and who knows how good Hunter would have been had he stayed healthy. And there's still a chance they trade BTJ or make this wide receiver room less crowded now that they have a real full room, to try and improve upon things that could take them the distance, because they're looking at themselves right now in the mirror going, what do we need to do to get over the hump next year? We got so close, we did very well, but what can we use maybe with a wide receiver to go get something else in trade. So they're certainly going to explore that. But I think Hunter is a fantastic buy low. Him and Egbuka both will cost like wide receiver 3 value in a redraft or a best ball draft in terms of draft value. And in existing dynasty, you may not be able to get them at wide receiver 3 value, maybe high end wide receiver 3 value. But even if it was a little more or it was confusing to the owner of either one, that's how you get it done. You just make a very confusing, complex offer that confuses the situation, throws some other upside in that they can't measure or compute, and then all of a sudden you're stealing away Egbuka and Hunter. They're both great buy lows. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, live whenever big news breaks, and live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. And don't forget to get on over to my 24/7 live chat Patreon. $10 a month, cancel anytime. It's 24/7 live chatting. And then also get over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com, which is all updated. All the rookies before the landing spots are injected into everything, into the top 200, into the cheat sheet, into the trade calculator, bold predictions. I got 5 bold predictions already up for 2026. Go check out thefantasyfootballshow.com. See you guys on the next one. Again, live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.